Hello, everyone. Welcome to Market Simulation Call for Independent Releases 2022. My name is Anshuman Vaidya. I'm your Market Simulation Lead, and today is April 21st, 2022. Calls and webinars are recorded for stakeholder convenience, allowing those who are unable to attend to listen to the recordings after the meetings. The recordings will be publicly available on the ISO web page for a limited time following the meeting. The recordings and any related transcription should not be reprinted without the ISO permission. We have the following agenda today. We'll talk about this release's Mapstage availability. We'll talk about the connectivity testing. Then we'll talk about the system interface changes and any updates to them. After that, we'll talk about the initiatives and timelines for different projects in this release. And then we'll take a look at the initiatives separately, and then we'll talk about next steps. Currently, we have two Mapstage scheduled maintenance. One is for OMS, which will start on 4/25, and it will continue till 4/29. And then when we have one for cyber, that starts on 4/29. You can get up-to-date Mapstage availability on portal.kaiser.com. Anybody has any concerns regarding Mapstage availability? All right, moving on. So for Mapstage connectivity, we are in the connectivity testing for RACE1 project for settlements, and the timeline is from 3/31 to 5/18 for the connectivity testing. Anybody has any concerns regarding this timeline for the connectivity testing? All right, moving on. Then we have the system interface changes that are coming with this independent release 2022, and I'll invite Trang to provide any update on these system interface changes.
Thank you, Anshuman. Before I get a little bit too far into this, I just wanted to back up and just kind of reiterate the messaging for the Mapstage system availability. So the cyber outage should come as no surprise, as that one is going to be needed to support the transmission service and market scheduling priorities phase 1 market simulation. And so the maintenance would be our normal Friday maintenance on the 29th, and that is what we plan to be able to have those changes in by the start of market. If that changes, then we will communicate as such on the following markets and calls next week. And then for OMS, so that is a new item that we are adding to today's presentation, and that is a significant outage for the OMS system that is taking place next week. And in terms of market simulation for the pre-summer initiatives, if there's any outage needs that you have, please do plan around that. And if there's questions specific to what we can do to support any of your outage needs for any of these market simulations, please do let us know. So, so just to, draw some more attention to that maintenance. And then for the system interface changes, so I'll go through some updates that we have here. So for the first item, for the FERC 831 API, so we do plan on having the changes in our pre-Mapstage environment this week, and then we will continue for the testing of that and work through the promotion to Mapstage hopefully very soon within the next week or so is our target to take advantage of testing this with the pre-summer items. No changes to transmission service and market scheduling priorities for cyber or OASIS. For RTM, again, we've communicated that for resource efficiency, there's going to be a change in the UI for the submission of the demand response data. There's going to be a corresponding API, and we do see at this time that the UI changes will come first, and then the API will come a little bit later for that RTM and service that's related to the BAYOP UI change. So you'll see that TBD for Mapstage and the tech specs for the API component, but for the UI piece for demand response, that is going to be aligned with the resource efficiency evaluation market sim, as well as production activation. And then for Resource efficiency, continuing on there. There's no changes on OASIS. The tech specs did come to the TUG this last week. And so there is a revision. 7.1.1 is the latest, so please always refer to the dev site for any adjustments on the tech specs and artifacts. For CMRI, we're happy to announce that yesterday we did publish the tech specs for resource efficiency, so please take a look at that and submit any studies for any questions that you may have. And then for the last one, for cyber RDRR bidding enhancements, so that's the one that's the furthest ahead. So for those rules, those have been published since March, and those rules are actually in MarketSim as even now. So any questions or comments on these? All right, and I'm hearing none, and I don't see anything in the chat, so Anshuman, back to you.
Thank you, Trang. Moving on. So these are the current timelines we have. For reliability demand response resource bidding enhancements project, we did start with structured scenario on 4/19. We did had an issue where there was an additional bids were submitted from our end at 1 p.m. So we have created one more day today to do the scenarios. We reached out to the participants for RDRR so that they can be ready for today's market simulation for the RDRR project. So that's one of the change here. The next change is we have added OMS framework to Webvision. We don't have a concrete date yet, but we know that it's going to start in May 2022. And we have 1 month to test it. Trang, would you like to add something here?
Yeah, so thank you, Anshuman. I just wanted to confirm on the timeline there. So on this new item that you see in the MarketSim presentation, this is for the OMS framework, the Webvision upgrade that's been communicated for some time in the TUG. And as communicated in Monday's market simulation call, we want to carry along the communication into the MarketSim calls and the RUG, as well as we have we will be making this available in Mapstage very soon, and it's a pretty quick turnaround prior to production. So for OMS framework, it's not a month that we're anticipating for the testing in Mapstage. So we're planning about 2 weeks or so. I know we got some feedback on that, so we'll continue to take in feedback on the time needed based on when the framework becomes available in Mapstage. But we are trying to move this to production prior to the summer activities, as we don't, we want to make sure that we have the latest framework there and don't take any interruptions to OMS prior to the critical summer season. So, the timeline is actually closer to 2 weeks is what we're planning in Mapstage prior to moving this to production, but we'll continue to cover this at least a few times a week with our participants to keep everyone updated on the progress, as well as get any feedback and provide support on that. And then just additional, I guess, on OMS framework too, is we have the slide that carried on from the RUG and the TUG with the details and upcoming deliverables that we have planned for the support of this testing is going to be customer notices as well as training materials to highlight the changes from the current OMS framework to the Webvision framework. So you'll see additional materials coming up soon from our customer service team as well as our products needs. So, so just wanted to clarify on timeline expectations and upcoming deliverables. So any other questions or comments on OMS? Okay, thanks. Anshuman, back to you.
Thank you, Trang. Any other comments regarding any of the projects? All right, moving on. So for RDRR, we are doing structured, it says April 19th and 21, we are doing it today too. And this is the same timeline that we followed on April 19th. We're gonna follow the same timeline for the scenario. The structured scenario document is available at the link below, and I'll open up for any questions regarding this project. All right, moving on.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chinya. Go ahead.
Yeah, so hopefully today's structure will be successful. If it's not, then when will be the next target trading?
That's a good point, Chinya. If this structure is not, I mean, we don't envision any issues going for the structure scenario today. But if additional testing is required, we can have another day, maybe next week, Tuesday, to do the testing again. And we have a market sim call on Monday where we can discuss this. And if anybody has concerns, then we can definitely utilize Tuesday to do additional testing if there are any issues today.
Good to know. Thank you.
Sure. Any other concerns? All right, moving on. For transmission service and market scheduling priorities phase 1, we're planning to have structure scenarios May 5. We will be publishing the document. Actually, the document is already published for this project. And we have the timeline from May 3rd to May 20. Anybody has any concerns or thoughts regarding this project?
Hi, Anjuman. This is Christy Monahan with SRP. I appreciate you sending some. Thank you. I appreciate you sending some info on which hubs we should register some test wheels through.
Yes.
I had a question on the timing. Do you all intend to submit which hours you would recommend scheduling, or is it going to be all day that we can submit them for?
That's a good point, Christy. And to be honest, I don't have the hours right now with me. When we have the code deployed and when we do our testing, we'll decide on the trading hours. And I will let you know before we do the market sim, I'll let you know the timings.
Okay, yeah, we can just wait till we get closer. I assume to kind of cover more of the details on that one.
Right.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Any other questions? All right, moving on. We have the resource sufficiency evaluations enhancements phase 1A. We're planning to publish the structured document today. What I've seen mostly is we'll probably have 3 cases, but all of the 3 cases are going to be unstructured. But we'll put the document out as a guideline for market participants to pursue those cases. Anybody has any questions regarding this project? All right, moving on. For OMS framework to Webvision, I'll invite Trang to give us an update on this one.
Okay, thanks, Anjuman. So I think that I've already summarized this as we talked through the previous slide. And just to draw your attention down to the last item, the timeline, again, we're planning to make this available in Mapstage. So the outage next week for Mapstage OMS will support our preparation of that environment to make this framework available there. We plan to have that available to you for a couple of weeks in Mapstage. And then our production target is by May 31st, of course, depending on the testing that happens in the Mapstage environment. So we look forward to being able to provide more materials to support this upgrade to Webvision to you prior to the Mapstage availability of this, and then to be able to announce the availability itself in Mapstage. So if there are any questions, please follow the normal MarketSim City process, or send an email to marketsim@kaiso.com, and we will make sure that we support you here. All right. Thanks, Anjuman. Thank you.
Thank you, Trang, for the update. And any concerns, thoughts regarding this project? All right. I guess that's all I have for today's conference. Next conference is scheduled on April 25th at 2 p.m. And I'll open up for any other issues that we can discuss in this forum. Hearing none. Thank you everyone for joining the call. We'll see you back again on April 25th.